It's 2 in the morning, you are finally asleep, the house is quiet, and then you hear it. A small whimper, then a soft cry, coming from the crib. You rush over. Your heart is pounding. You check everything, temperature, diaper, blanket, but your baby's eyes are completely closed. They are fast asleep. And within 30 seconds, they stop crying, all on their own. You stand there in the dark, confused, a little scared, wondering, what just happened? Is something wrong with my baby? Here is what no one tells you. That moment, that exact moment you just witnessed, was not a warning sign. According to neuroscientists at Columbia University and the National Institutes of Health, what your baby just did in that crib is one of the most powerful signs of a healthy developing brain. And by the end of this video, the next time your baby cries in their sleep, you will not panic. You will understand exactly what is happening inside that tiny, extraordinary brain, and you might even smile. Section 1, the number that changes everything. Let us start with one number. 50%. That is the percentage of time a newborn baby spends in REM sleep. REM, rapid eye movement, is the stage of sleep where the brain is most active. It is the stage where adults dream. It is the stage where memories are processed and emotions are sorted. Now here is where it gets fascinating. Adults spend only about 20 to 25% of their sleep in REM, but a newborn, 50%. And for babies born premature, that number jumps to 80%. Think about that for a moment. Your baby's brain is spending half of every single night in the most intense, most active state a brain can be in while the body is asleep. The question is, why? Why does nature design a baby's brain to spend so much time in this hyperactive sleep state? The answer, researchers discovered, is construction. Your baby's brain is not resting when they sleep. It is building. Neuroscientists now understand that REM sleep in infants is the primary window during which the brain forms new neural connections. Every experience your baby has during the day, every face they saw, every sound they heard, every sensation they felt, gets processed, sorted, and wired into permanent memory during REM sleep. Scientists at Columbia University placed tiny electrode caps on sleeping newborns just 1 to 2 days old. What they discovered stunned them. These newborns, who had been alive for less than 48 hours, were actively learning while they slept. Their brains were processing patterns, making predictions, building the very foundation of how they would understand the world. Your baby is not resting, your baby is in school, and that school runs all night long. Section 2, why babies cry during REM. So we know that babies spend enormous amounts of time in REM sleep. We know their brains are intensely active, but this still does not explain the crying. Why does an actively sleeping baby suddenly cry? Here is where neuroscience gives us something remarkable. During REM sleep, a baby's nervous system is immature. An adult brain has a highly developed system that keeps the body mostly still during REM, a kind of safety switch that prevents us from physically acting out what our brains are processing. Scientists call this REM atonia. Your baby does not have this switch yet, not fully. So when your baby's brain is in the middle of intense processing, sorting emotions, building memories, firing neural connections at speeds that will never happen again in their entire lifetime, all of that internal activity leaks out through the body. The small cry you hear at 2 a.m., that is not distress, that is overflow. It is the sound of your baby's brain working so hard, so fast, so powerfully that the body cannot contain it silently. Researchers at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia describe this active sleep state as a period where babies may twitch, jerk their arms or legs, show rapid eye movements under closed eyelids, make facial expressions, and yes, cry briefly, all while remaining completely asleep. This is not pain. This is not fear. This is brain construction in progress. Section 3, the emotional memory connection. Now, here is the part that most parenting articles completely miss, and this is the part that will genuinely change how you see those nighttime cries. Neuroscientist Dr. Manuela Friedrich at Humboldt University in Berlin ran a series of studies with infants between 9 and 16 months old. Her team showed babies images of unfamiliar objects while the babies heard made-up words for each object. Then some babies napped and some stayed awake. When tested later, the babies who had slept showed something remarkable in their brain scans. Not only had they remembered the words, they had categorized the objects. They had built abstract understanding. They had gone beyond memory into meaning. The babies who did not sleep, they remembered almost nothing. Dr. Friedrich's conclusion was precise. She said, and I want you to hear these words, "While infants were sleeping, their brains extracted the gist of previous experiences. Your sleeping baby is not just storing the day. They are making sense of it. Every interaction you had with your baby today, every time you smiled at them, every time you spoke their name, every time you picked them up, every game you played, your baby's sleeping brain is right now taking all of that and weaving it into understanding, into emotional maps, into the very shape of who they are going to become. And sometimes, that process is loud." Section 4, the counterintuitive truth. Here is the counterintuitive truth that neuroscience has spent decades uncovering. Most parents, when they hear their baby cry in sleep, interpret it as a problem to solve. They rush in, they pick the baby up, they try to wake them, and while the instinct to respond to your baby is beautiful and important, in this specific case, science suggests something different. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that premature infants who had more REM sleep, including the kind of active, expressive, sometimes crying REM sleep, consistently showed better cognitive outcomes at 6 months, at 2 years, and beyond. They had stronger attention spans, better emotional regulation, more advanced language development. Meanwhile, infants whose REM sleep was frequently interrupted, even by well-meaning parents who rushed in too quickly, showed the opposite pattern. The cry in the night is not a call for rescue. It is a sign of a brain that is alive, active, and building itself with extraordinary intensity. Dr. William Pfeiffer, developmental neuroscientist at Columbia University, put it this way: "A newborn's primary job is to learn about and adapt to everything in their environment. And the primary time that job gets done? While the baby is asleep. Sleep is not a pause in your baby's development. Sleep is where development actually happens." Section 5, what parents should actually do. So what does this mean for you practically? What should you do when you hear your baby cry in their sleep? First, wait. Give it 30 to 60 seconds before you respond. In most cases, the cry will resolve entirely on its own. Your baby will settle back into deeper sleep. The construction continues. The brain keeps building. Second, observe without intervening. If the cry is brief, if your baby's eyes remain closed, if their body settles, this is normal active sleep behavior. You do not need to do anything. Third, know the difference. There is a clear difference between a sleep cry and a wake cry. A sleep cry is soft, brief, irregular. It starts and stops on its own within a minute. A wake cry builds in intensity, continues to grow louder, and is accompanied by open eyes, body movement, and escalating distress. If your baby is truly awake and genuinely upset, of course you respond, immediately and with love. Fourth, protect the sleep, because now you understand that this sleep is not passive rest. It is active construction. Protecting your baby's sleep becomes one of the most powerful things you can do for their brain development. Consistent sleep schedules, a calm sleep environment, and allowing natural sleep cycles to complete without unnecessary interruption. These are not just comfort choices. They are neuroscience-backed developmental investments. And fifth, trust the process. Your baby's brain knows exactly what it is doing. Evolution has spent millions of years perfecting this system. The crying in the night is not a malfunction. It is the system working exactly as designed. Here is what I want you to take away from today. You have been worrying about something that is actually a gift. that soft cry at 2 a.m., the one that pulled you out of sleep, the one that made your heart race, the one you could not explain. That was the sound of your baby's brain doing something no computer on earth can replicate, sorting through an entire day of human experience, building emotional memory, laying down the neural pathways that will shape your child's intelligence, empathy, and sense of self for the rest of their life. Neuroscientists at the NIH describe this as the most intense period of brain construction in all of human existence. More neural connections are being formed in your baby's sleeping brain right now than at any other point in the entire human lifespan, and you are witnessing it every single night. The next time it happens, and it will happen, I hope you hear it differently, not as a problem to solve, but as evidence that your baby is healthy, that their brain is powerful, that something remarkable is unfolding in that crib, in the dark, in the quiet of your home. Your baby is learning how to be human, and they are doing it beautifully. If this video gave you something, a little more peace, a little more understanding, please share it with one parent who needs to hear this tonight. And if you want to understand more of what is really happening inside your baby's extraordinary brain, subscribe to Parenting IQ, because every week we take the science that lives in research journals and we bring it home to you. I will see you in the next one.